If these beings were installing a new consciousness, could there be remnants of them also in ancient Egypt, where many secrets of the gods and their power are carved into the walls of temples? The most famous elongated heads depicted throughout Egyptian history is a pharaoh of Egypt, Akhenaten, and his queen Nefertiti, and later, King Tut.
I'm really intrigued by the elongated skulls that we find throughout history and depictions of beings with elongated skulls. In particular, I'm fascinated by Akhenaten and his children. Akhenaten is considered the heretic king in ancient Egypt, about 1400 BC. He's originally portrayed as a normal-looking human being, but then suddenly the Egyptians started portraying him with what is clearly an elongated skull. And his children have elongated skulls. And it fascinates me to wonder, well, why did they suddenly start doing that? What is the ultimate meaning of that? Egyptologists dismiss it as some kind of a genetic condition that he suffered from that was passed on to his children. But I'm not so sure about that. For me, the answer comes from looking at the metaphysics that Akhenaten introduced. He introduced monotheism to the world. He fired the whole pantheon of ancient Egyptian gods and introduced the worship of the Aten, which he called the disk. And people, especially Egyptologists, say that Akhenaten worshipped the sun and the disk represented the sun. But Akhenaten said no, that the Aten symbolized or represented the light that illuminated the sun. Now think about that. That is a giant leap in consciousness that he's introducing. And he passed this teaching on to his children as well. Is there a correspondence between this giant leap in consciousness that he introduced and perhaps a heightened or a greater cranial capacity that he might have actually possessed and his children could have possessed? We're told by researchers of elongated skulls that the cranial capacity could be 2.5 times that of an ordinary human being. Just think of what you could do consciousness-wise if you have a cranial capacity 2.5 times what you have right now. And what if Akhenaten indeed had this cranial capacity and he's introducing this super advanced metaphysics that actually changed the world?
If these beings came to Earth to help the human population, is it possible their species could be linked to the human lineage at all? There is yet one more place in the world that holds a high concentration of elongated heads, and thanks to the dry desert